Judge Walter Grayson barely looked up from the case file. In his mind, this was just another troubled teen in another boring courtroom. Same crimes, different hoodie. But Jalen Dawson wasn't like the others. The courtroom in downtown Los Angeles buzzed with low murmurs. Journalists were sprinkled in the gallery. Curious onlookers packed the benches. Everyone was waiting for a show. They didn't know the main act had just walked in wearing sneakers and quiet confidence. Jalen stood at the defense table, shoulders square, eyes locked on the judge. 19 years old, charged with grand theft auto and resisting arrest. From the back row, he looked like a college kid in the wrong place. From the front, he looked like someone who had nothing left to lose, but everything to prove. Grayson tapped his gavel lightly. "Let's move this along. I've got a tea time at 2. The prosecutor, Mitchell Carrington, smirked. Expensive suit, voice like a well-practiced sermon. "Your Honor, the state will prove without a shadow of a doubt that the defendant was caught red-handed behind the wheel of a stolen 2022 Audi A6, witnessed by Officer Ruiz. Fingerprints on the steering wheel, chased through downtown, classic open and shut." He shot a quick glance at Jalen, as if the verdict was already written. The judge nodded. "Sounds solid." Most of the courtroom seemed convinced, everyone except Jalen. He leaned slightly forward. "Your Honor," he said clearly, "I'll be representing myself." Silence. You could hear the wood creak beneath the gallery benches. Grayson raised an eyebrow. "You'll what?" "Defending myself," Jalen repeated calmly. Lisa Thornton, the overworked public defender assigned to his case, looked almost relieved. Carrington snorted. "This'll be entertaining." But nobody was laughing when Jalen stepped toward the jury box. The kid didn't just walk, he owned every inch of that floor. "Before we begin," he said, "I'd like to clarify something with the prosecution." Carrington folded his arms. "By all means. You said Officer Ruiz personally saw me behind the wheel?" "Yes," Carrington said with a sigh. "It's in the official report." Jalen nodded. "Then I respectfully move to strike that testimony." Grayson blinked. "On what grounds?" Jalen's eyes never left Carrington. "Because Officer Ruiz wasn't on duty when the chase began, and I can prove it with GPS logs." For the first time, Carrington's smile faltered. "Your Honor," Jalen continued, "if Ruiz wasn't at the scene when he said he was, his entire testimony is compromised. And if the prosecution has nothing to hide, they won't mind verifying it." Grayson turned to Carrington. "Problem with that?" Carrington hesitated just a beat too long. The jury noticed. So did the judge. "No objections," Carrington said finally, but his voice had lost its edge. Jalen exhaled slowly. One crack in the case. Now he went for the second. "You're relying on fingerprints found on the steering wheel." "Fair, but consider this." He turned to the jury. "Let's say you go into a store, try on a jacket, and hang it back up. Later, someone steals that jacket. Do your fingerprints mean you committed the crime?" A few jurors tilted their heads, interested now. That Audi was unlocked, parked outside a 7-Eleven hours before the incident. I leaned on it. I opened the door, that's it, no theft, no keys, no engine started, just teenage curiosity. He paused. "Does that make me a car thief?" The room stayed quiet. "And while we're on the subject," Jalen pressed, "why is it that the forensic specialist who processed my so-called evidence isn't here to testify? No chain of custody, no cross-examination, nothing." Grayson shifted in his seat. Jalen wasn't done. "One more thing," he said, and pulled out a folded police report. "This is a written statement from the car's owner, Raymond Whitaker. It's dated and signed. You'll find something interesting inside." He read it aloud. "I left my car running while I ran into the gas station. A kid must have jumped in and taken off, but it wasn't the guy they arrested. The kid I saw was white." The silence cracked. Gasps filled the room. Jalen looked at the judge. "This statement was never introduced by the prosecution. I wonder why." Carrington started to speak. "Your Honor, I wasn't found in the car," Jalen cut in. "I was arrested blocks away, walking home after getting snacks with my friends. The only thing tying me to this case is sloppy police work and a prosecutor who assumed the black kid nearby must be guilty." He turned to the jury. "This isn't just about me. This is about how many others were misidentified, misrepresented, misunderstood, because someone needed a quick conviction." Even Grayson wasn't hiding his discomfort now. The judge looked at Carrington. Anything else? Carrington stood stiff, red-faced. No, Your Honor. Grayson sighed, eyes heavy on Jalen. He rubbed his temple, then finally spoke. Case dismissed, and just like that, the room exploded. Half in disbelief, half in awe. The reporters scribbled, phones buzzed, but Jalen stood still. Outside the courthouse, the press waited like wolves. Cameras flashed. Questions flew. Jalen, how did it feel to beat a seasoned prosecutor? What's next for you? He didn't answer, just pulled up his hood and walked down the steps, straight into his mother's arms. Denise Dawson had tears in her eyes. Boy, you scared me half to death. Had to take a risk, Ma. She smiled through a hug, always the stubborn one. Across the street, Judge Grayson stood by his car, watching. There was no smirk now, only recognition, and maybe, just maybe, regret. Because for once, the system blinked. And the kid they underestimated, he made it happen.